industrial buildings here in the city. And investors, a lot from Richmond and elsewhere, have purchased those properties and redeveloped them into primarily multifamily developments. So this was in 17, about 1,148 new units have come online in the city of Petersburg market. And additional developments have, I think, occurred since then. But you know, this has resulted in a significant number of new folks moving into the community and new economic vitality, especially in our downtown area. These are patrons of our local restaurants, our entertainment establishments, and our other businesses in the community.
So like when it says right there, Claremore Square, 47, that's 47 housing units?
Yes, yeah, so the HU is the number 5.
Okay. And is it okay if I send these out to the group as well?
Sure.
So that way you guys see them. I'm sorry we're on a wall, but and correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Maiden Lofts sell this summer?
Yes, it did.
Like 26 million?
Yes, significantly more than.
So if you don't think there's money that's happening, there's money moving right around you. I don't know what he bought them for, but he got a lot of tax credits. Dave did. The guy that owns what's the
Trapezium.
Yeah, Trapezium, and I think it's over like 26 mil. So there's money down here in Petersburg that's being made. You just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So Ray referenced Dave McCormick, and if you're not aware, he's a local developer, and he started in 2017 with the first phase of the Main Transfer Lofts. And from that, at that point, he was not a wealthy person at all, didn't have a lot of resources and assets. But since then, he's invested about $60 million in Petersburg. And now he's branched out to other parts of the Commonwealth, Bedford and the Eastern Shore, and places in between. So again, based in Petersburg and started in Petersburg, that is an example of a developer who started with virtually nothing and has done well with regard to real estate development. This just illustrates some of the more recent developments and the number of units that have come online and the investment. Again, $16 million since in 2014 and 16. 2014, 15. So this is a list of pending development projects. 20 West Tab Street is adjacent to City Hall. That's a vacant hotel building. It was constructed back in 1915. But recently it was purchased in 2018. And it is slated to be a boutique hotel. It's currently under renovation. 380 East Washington Street, the former Ramada Inn Hotel at I-95 in Washington Street. It is an eyesore, and it was sold to a developer out of DC, and he is in the process of redeveloping that into a chain hotel.
Is there a timeline on that?
Per the purchase agreement, he has until May 17th of this year to get a certificate of occupancy. Of course, that's going to happen.
Are you going to extend that deadline?
So we have to negotiate with him, and the city will make what the decision that's in the best interest.
Let him know we have buyers. If you don't want to, if you don't want to.
That is the biggest eyesore.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And the other issue is you guys shut down Neptune's right across the street, which was driving a lot of other folks to come in otherwise. And there's a hotel behind that that's vacant.
With regard to Neptune's, there were issues related to that business that caused them to
I
close.
understand, but the issue is when people are trying to come in to do something, the guy that bought that hotel is related to the person that owned Neptune's. I'm just telling you.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're saying one wrong, it doesn't help another.
Yeah, right.
So if you extend that, you're delaying what the can that you're kicking down the road, and it's not helping the beauty of what's happening in the city.
We are acutely aware of the need to advance the development of that property.
I would tell you.
Mr. Taper is being nice. I'm not gonna be nice. We did not, as the city of Petersburg, shut down Neptune. We did not. So I want everybody, I don't want anybody to leave with that thought, because that is not the way it happened. And so what we're saying to people is, it's a new day in the city of Petersburg. Things have changed. You gotta pay your bills. You gotta pay your meals tax. You gotta pay the state what's owed. What's due to Caesar, you gotta pay it. And so I think for so long, people have taken a story and run with it, and then it becomes gospel and truth, and it is not so. It is not so.
I'm just saying, handle it the same way with hotels that has been handled.
So for the hotel though, Mr. Tabor has been given instructions, because we have deputies. And we work for the deputies work for the city manager works for city council. City council has given some instructions, and it's unfortunately, it's one of those things that's a policy. And so it's at the level of city council and not at the staff level. So Mr. Tabor will definitely do, of course, what city council directs. So when you're asking us about sometimes how you can help us, how you can also help us is that you are following the policies, and that you're also having these conversations as investors with councilors, those who make the decisions.
Is that, I mean, yeah, there you go, that's the question.
Can they come next month?
City council is open. They meet the first and third Tuesday of every month, and you have to own a business or reside in the city of Petersburg in order to speak. But yes, it's an open meeting.
So you can't own just real estate in the city and still get that
It
capability?
has to be a business. Am I correct to speak?
Well, I mean, if we're investing in real estate, that's the question that I have. How do us investors?
Just as an owner? Yes. So yes, you can speak as an owner of real estate in the city of Petersburg.
And the next one's next Tuesday. That's why we're not having ours next Tuesday, because we're having the city council that we've got to be at.
All right, so moving on down this list, 308 University Boulevard is a multifamily development, and we have a final agreement that's pending with regard to that development, and that's a $20 million development. Then 10 North Jefferson and 125 East Washington Street, that agreement is pending as well, and I'm referring to the purchase agreement. And 501 East Washington Street, a purchase agreement is pending for that. There are some properties on Harrison Street, single-family residential properties that are under for redevelopment. And the developer is in the diligence period with regard to those properties. 108 East Washington Street, the final agreement is pending for that. 100 and 120 Perry Street, that's actually not a city-owned property, but that project is under plan review. And then Hinton Street Lots. Actually, that final agreement has been executed, and I think that's under plan review as well. So some major development opportunities, and these are city-owned properties, city and economic development authority owned properties. First, Pocahontas Island, which is not far from here, just across the Appomattox River, in a historic section of the city. And it's a former Roper Brothers lumber yard, and it's 24 acres. It's deeded to our Economic Development Authority. It's visible from I-95. If you come to Petersburg from I-95 and just look to the right, you've probably seen it. There's a big Roper sign over to the right. And again, it's adjacent to the river, and it's near our historic downtown. Also, 2233 Halifax Road, that's a 174-acre site, vacant land. It's city-owned. It's near I-85. It's within the Interstate Industrial Park, and it's at the intersection of Norfolk Southern and CSX Railroad.
Can you go back one? I'm sorry.
So with that, what you just showed opportunities, is that gonna be included in the information you send us with it all?
Yeah, if you allow me to send a slide deck out, I'll send it out. We need a concert venue down there, so that'd be a great place on Pocahontas.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I want to jump in and put a plug in here real quick. I have 5 houses under contract on the Pocahontas Island, and I'm picking up 2 lots by the end of the week. So if you're interested in it, it is an opportunity zone. It is a federal and state tax rehabilitation credit, but it doesn't fall underneath a local rehabilitation credit situation. So just talk to me.
Thank you. And some additional real estate opportunities. We have properties in our Halifax Triangle area, and those are primarily vacant lots. We have 801 South Adams, the former site of the Southside Regional Medical Center. That's about a 24-acre site as well. 29 and 41 South Union Street. Those are vacant lots now. Unfortunately, the buildings had to be demolished due to the condition of.
What's the lot size?
I'll need to get that, and I can provide.
That's both unions?
I'm sorry?
That's both unions that you have on the list?
Yes. Well, 29 and 41 and 30 and 42. Actually, 30 and 42, I'll probably need to remove that from the list. We have a proposal, actually a city proposal to use those properties.
Anything that you can share of what that's looking like to be?
I'm sorry?
Anything you can share what's projected to be there?
Yeah, it's, the city received funding to construct a parking structure, a parking ride structure. It's adjacent to our transit center, those properties are. And so they would be used as the location for the parking structure. And actually, we have a contract now on 108 East Washington Street, pending contract. 1004 and 1015 Commerce Street, the former Titmus building, that is a vacant industrial building, and that is available.
Was that a project that already started?
No. There have been proposals or talk about proposals, but nothing, no executed.
What's the plan for Washington Street?
108 East Washington Street, that pending development is actually a cigar bar. So that's the former Trailways building at the corner of Adams and Washington. And a gentleman who currently owns a business in the Stony Point shopping center is looking to open that business there as well. 1237 Halifax Street, that's the former AP Hill Community Center. 137 Sycamore Street, the former library. Recently, the city constructed a new library on Washington Street, so the old one is available. And 1000 Diamond Street, a former school, that is a vacant property as well.
Sir, what was that address on Halifax?
1237.
1237.
So correct me if I'm wrong, the best way to approach, if somebody's interested in one of these buildings, is to come see you or to come to your office, you're going there. I got it.
Can I ask something?
It is approximately 32,500.
So one question I have is building code and construction or renovation when it comes to some of these older buildings like the library and so on. Some of that stuff is going to have asbestos and so on. Abatement process and any credits or support from Petersburg, is that going to be available?
So I think I mentioned earlier, there's a state program that we try to utilize, and it's a brownfields program, and it's actually a grant program. And we've been successful in getting funds for a couple projects here in Petersburg. So if you have a large project that has those issues, we can certainly apply for those funds to those works.
Thank you.
So this, and you're going to get these slides so you can go through this disposition process, and it's a draft that we're working with council to finalize. but it describes the process for acquiring city-owned property. But we can go to the next slide, and that's a continuation of the process. And then ultimately, what really starts the process is an assessment form. So if you identify a piece of property, you can access this form on our website and complete the top part. The top part is a purchaser purchaser section, and it includes, your contact information, information about you, information about the property, what you propose to do with it, the amount of investment that you propose to invest in the property, and then we'll take that and review it, assess it, analyze it, evaluate the proposal, and then respond to you, and then eventually, if accepted, move to the contract development process.
So whether they're gonna accept or not accept, when will you get a response back?
Yes. So, yeah, thank you, and I appreciate it. So we've been working with Mr. Meyer because he has submitted an assessment and a proposal to purchase some property. I mentioned previously that our process is a draft process, and we're working with council to finalize that process. So hence, we've been delayed in moving forward some of the proposals. In fact, actually, Ray has a pending proposal as well, and maybe, unfortunately, some of you may as well. But we're meeting this week with council, and hopefully we'll finalize the process within the matter of weeks and be able to really expedite and review those proposals.
If I just say something, this is not an overnight process. This takes a while to do, but as Mr. Chambers said, they're trying to refine the process. I think we've been working on Halifax for about a year, almost a year, close to it. So it's one of those, it takes time, but sometimes good things come to those who wait. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, so this process is for city-owned properties only and not privately owned properties?
Yes, these will be for city-owned properties. And so that's my presentation. Again, I want to thank you not only for coming out and